fucking buggy. Well, I tried a couple adjustments after my bad steering, as I said in the last video. All I did was comb out, I guess, so they point out a little more. It didn't really help. But then I found an even bigger problem, I guess, because I'm pretty sure the steering problem is into my play right down in there. I'm going to get a better video, you can see what's going on in the shot. Play on that. I'm going to fix that. Got a plan. But I bent both my front rims as soon as I hit the dirt road and a couple of ruts. So I've used these cheap tires. The bearings were alright, they held up, but the rim itself is such a thin material that it just couldn't take any bending at all or any rough use, and they bent, and now they wobble like a fucking bastard. So those are junk. Do not use those if you're making a kart, I would have to say. And Canadian Tire, these were $18.99 as is, as you see it. And there's a good reason they were that cheap. They look nice. They're quick and work, but they weren't worth it. So I'm going to upgrade some wheelbarrow tires with the same bearings pretty much, only the rim is way heavier duty or thicker. Of course, wheelbarrows would be. And these are nicer. Way nicer. Look at that rubber. These are brand new. I got them for $22 as is a piece. So I bought two new of them bastards. And they're the exact same size as the back tire. Obviously with less tread, which is going to make my ride even smoother. But being bigger, they hit my frame when I turn, and my spindles are too short. So I got some more 5/8 rod. I'm just going to cut that in half or whatever hell I need for length to basically do the same setup I got on there now. I'm just going to make a new one and bend it. I'll probably put in a vise and pound the snot out of it till it's 90. And I might use my little bender I made. I don't know if it'll bend this. I don't want to ruin my blade, but either way. And then I'm going to put a spacer. Probably it's going to be about a 2.5, maybe even 3-inch spacer out. Just so that when I turn it doesn't hit my fucking frame. Which is going to make my wheel span in the front almost the exact same width as my back. It ended up being about an inch narrower, which right now it's about 6 inches narrower. So that'll make me even more stable on the road, and I think it'll make my driving smoother all around. I got some of this 1/2-inch pipe for a spacer. I'm going to take one of these bearings out and put it between the bearings, and then I'm going to drill into there, and I'm going to weld a nut or a bolt sticking out of it. 3/8 probably, and then I'm going to just feather this down with my grinder. Washer on the end is a big washer cap thing, and I'm going to bolt the rims on, and I'm going to use a piece of this to go between my bearings so they don't squish. Oh, I just got to rip this with my zip cut so it'll fit over this pipe. It's close, but obviously not going to fit. I'll just rip it, space it out on the inside, weld it back, no big deal. Then I'll bolt them on, hold them on tight so there'll be no play at all in the bearings, between the bearings. That'll make that tight. And it'll hold them on there nice and secure. And it's going to level out my ride. It was sitting a little low in the front, which I liked. But due to my steering inability to steer, I guess that's what I'm going to have to settle for, some bigger motherfucking tires. Fix that steering problem. I went and got a couple of them bad boys. These are 1/2-inch fine thread. I'm deciding if I'm going to use 1 or 2 down in that where I showed you earlier. But I'm going to use them somehow to make it easier, tighter. The only problem is when that turns, that goes up and down. And for this to go in there and go up and down, it's going to want to bend this that way or the top part that way, and it's going to be, I want to solid weld it to my tie rod link or my shaft. so I'm not sure. But I don't think it'll be that hard once I actually sit down and tear that up and think about it. Now I'm going to make my axles longer, put some badass cars on, then I'll paint them silver so they match the back. We'll be back on the track. Alright.